I'd like to give a shout out to our newest sponsor, Solutions Today Supplemental Insurance. If you're a competitor in the cage, in the boxing ring, put your body on the line every time you compete, you can get cut, you can break a leg, a finger, who knows, put you out of work. It sucks. They'll provide you with 24/7, 365 days a year supplemental insurance covering everything from hospital stays, fractures, outpatient surgery, recovery benefits, family plans, and more. They pay out in addition to all other insurance, including WSIB, employment insurance, and your work benefits. Qualification is easy. No medical test or exam needed. No occupational restrictions and no income verification. Head on over to solutionstoday.ca and get coverage for you and your family. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank my sponsor, Rycore Countertops. They deal in custom countertops in quartz, corian, meganite, laminate, and butcher block. They also have custom kitchen cabinetry, closets, laundry rooms, and millwork. They're family owned and operated for 18 years, knowledgeable and highly experienced staff, and friendly customer service. Head on over to 1069 Clark Road. Check out their showroom today.
Yeah, you're killing it.
Yeah, it's Toronto's. So I'm born and raised in Toronto. Like I grew up there my whole life. So to me, like going back there, I mean, once I announced the fights, it was literally like, hey, like you're coming back, because like everybody that lives in Toronto tend to think that there's nothing outside of Toronto. Does that make any sense?
Like what do you mean, like downtown Toronto?
Just Toronto in general. So if you say like, hey, I got to go to Kitchener. Whoa, that's so far away. That's what's, you know what I mean? They think it's, but literally it's just an hour drive down the highway.
Yeah.
So, and I had that mentality when I first moved here. I felt like I was like, oh, I was moving into the country. There was nothing here. I wasn't used to so much sky.
Right.
That was the first thing I noticed. It was like, it's all sky here, where I was used to big apartment buildings. I was used to, I had to buy a fan to go to sleep because
it was so quiet.
It was too quiet. Oh. I didn't like it at all. I was like, why can't I sleep? I had all this trouble because I was used to the RT because I lived in Scarborough. So they always had the RT subway always going tick, 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 and sirens, woo, 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 like nonstop.
Yeah.
So I was like, I needed that white noise almost, right? That
we got to get you like a white noise siren subway.
I've been here 20 years now.
Oh, have you?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm cool now. I'm like, no, I don't mind.
So now if you are sleeping in the city, do you find it too noisy?
No, I live in a crappy neighborhood, so the sirens are going all the time. I'm still good.
Thank God for that.
Still there. Like, it's one of those, like, but I like it. It's like that, I don't know, get down and grindy, you know?
Yeah. I guess I understand what you're saying because I'm from Vancouver, like I was saying, and I live downtown, and when anybody's talking about any other place in Toronto besides downtown, I'm like, where's that? I have no idea because I have no reason to leave downtown. Everything that I need
is within walking distance.
Is there.
Yeah, my buddy's like that in Toronto. It's literally, you don't have a car, bro? Why don't you have a car? And he's like, across the street, it's metro, movie theater. Like everything is like, and he was living in Yonge and Eglinton. It was like that. It was like no matter what you can go, and everybody liked to drink, and everybody, it was there. That was like your thing you did after work. Yeah. I'm just going to introduce her and we can just get rolling, eh?
Yeah.
I was going to say, it's all rolling. You're good.
Yeah, we're good. We're rolling already, but I'll just do a proper...
So you want to just like introduce her and keep talking?
Yeah, that's what I'll do. So since you're just joining us, my special guest today is Karlee Rose. I've had the luxury of meeting her back at the first pro show in Windsor in June. But the original meeting with you is actually you're an actress. Is that the correct term, actress or actor?
I don't mind when people say actress,
but
people are liking, some women don't want to be called actresses anymore. They want to be called an actor.
An actor.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'll respect that. So I just want to make sure I tend to like, you know, maybe not sometimes the words come out the wrong way, but I just want to make sure that
I still call myself an actress, so I'm not offended by it.
Okay, so the connection here with yourself and me is Jays Bordeaux, who's the director and producer of a movie that's dropping in 2021. Or is it the end of 2020?
We don't really know yet. It'll be hopefully this year, if not beginning of next year.
Okay. Now, and the movie, what's really, really interesting about it is I got a call from the movie set one day looking to rent a cage. So my position as a professional MMA promoter, getting a phone call from a movie director filming a movie about women's mixed martial arts, which is very, very popular. Very, I put women fights on the card all the time.
Yeah.
Women just tend to bring it. They fight a little bit harder. But this movie was about women's mixed martial arts. I jumped on it. I was like, yeah, that's cool. So they actually rented the cage from me. And that's how I met you. And I met Gino Bravo. What's his role? His position?
He's our executive producer.
Executive producer. So, but the whole team, everybody I met, every single one of you was very, I think the stigma of meeting somebody who is an actor or a producer or director, you're not sure how they're going to be.
Yeah.
You don't know if they're going to be like strict on everything they say or do. But you guys were just really cool and very...
We're very like free flow.
Yeah, 100%. And if you made me feel comfortable just being around you, and I thought that was pretty cool too.
Yeah.
So the movie was called Excelsius.
Excelsius. Now we shortened it to EFC, but it's Excelsius Fighting Championship.
Okay, tell me a little bit about the movie.
Yeah, so EFC is about a women's only fight promotion. In the film, I play the protagonist, Cassady Jones. And she is the undefeated champion of the strawweight division who has just lost her sister. And she's also at risk to losing her professional career as well if the EFC goes under. So in the film, we kind of explore the different obstacles that Cassady has to go through, both personally and professionally. But what's really cool about the story, it's not linear. It's a very complex story in the sense that it's delivering a powerful message, and it's going to mean something different for everybody depending who you are. So
Okay.
yeah, we're really excited about it. And on top of that, I mean, our fight scenes are
I've heard.
epic.
I've heard, and let's kind of dive into this a little bit, because this what I find rather interesting, and I talked to Jays about it, because I said, I go, hey, like, does she do training? Did she do this? That, like, because naturally, I mean, I'm curious. I want to, like, I'm like, you know, who's this actor who's basically doing stunts, doing, you know, the punch, the choreography. Did you have to do the training? Did you do like what he told me is that you wanted to do all this stuff, and he was being very, very protective, and he was like, no, we'll get, and you were like, no, I want to, like, and you tell me about this. Tell me about, like, how.
Yeah. I really wanted to do my own stunts, and we had decided that I was going to up until almost right before we started filming, and the reasons was just because of insurance purposes, and like you said, Jays really didn't want me to do them. I think I traumatized him because I had my 2 front teeth knocked out, which was like something completely different. Nothing to do with the training.
Yeah.
But it was a whole process of getting them fixed. And
So
then
you not got your teeth knocked out, like, on set for a movie?
No. It was a girl that pushed me into a wall. It was the whole thing.
Wow.
But anyways, so I had to go through multiple surgeries, and there was... Anyways, so he was just traumatized from that, and he was like, I don't want you doing anything that you can get hurt. I'm like, what's the worst that's going to happen? I mean, I've already gotten my teeth knocked out.
Yeah, you're a fighter from the start.
I know.
So what'd you do? Jiu Jitsu, Muay Thai, kickboxing? What'd you do?
Yeah, so I did Jiu Jitsu, I did Muay Thai, and boxing.
Okay, who'd you do them with?
I did, it was BJJ. I did the Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, which I hear that George...
So it's George Brito.
Brito.
Okay, so George Brito's fighting on the card, which if
Yeah.
anyone knows George Brito in the community, he's he has a cult following, pretty much. Like, we look at him like he's very revered. As a Brazilian, moved to Toronto, black belt in Jiu Jitsu, and he runs Toronto BJJ, and that's where you did your Jiu Jitsu. So ironically enough, he's fighting on the card
That's
that
amazing.
you guys are a part of. So that's pretty cool. So
Yeah, he wasn't the instructor, though, that I worked with. It was Nathan Rector.
okay.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, they were all so amazing there, and it was super intimidating walking in there, and you're just seeing everybody, like, doing their thing, and then the class starts, and everybody starts...
Did they know you were an actor?
Yeah, we told them. Me and one of the other actresses, Ava Blackwell, we went together. And I remember the class started and everybody just starts doing backward somersaults like down the mat. And I'm like standing there like, I don't remember the last time I've done a backward somersault. And like, what
Since
if
you were a little girl, probably.
Yeah, right? And so I'm just kind of standing there and then Nathan comes over and he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I don't think I can do a backward somersault. I don't know how. And he's like, just lie down on the ground, put your arm out like this, put your feet up. He just grabs my feet, flips me over, and I'm like,
Okay.
I guess I can do a backward
And that was your
somersault.
start of your journey to BJJ.
Yeah, and you know what I liked about that approach? I think that it was just like it didn't give me time to really get nervous about it. You know,
Mhm.
it was just like, okay, this is how you do it. And it was like, all right, cool. So that was really awesome. And by the end of the class, I was like flipping over this guy that was like 200 pounds, like flipping him to the ground. And
Mhm. So
I
did you
mean,
like it? Did you like?
I loved it. Yeah, because I mean, let's break it down. It's like all about like how the smaller person can potentially defeat the bigger person.
The size don't matter when it comes to jujitsu.
Yeah, and that's so cool. And I think it's just such a beneficial thing for life to
Mhm.
know, like if somebody pins you down, how to get out of that and
Mhm.
just how
Do you
to
still remember everything that they showed you?
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. That you know, I think that that's something that you have to practice, of course. But I still was working with our stunt coordinator Wayne Wells after we stopped filming because it
Mhm.
was so. I just loved working with him so much. So he's teaching me some self defense stuff as well,
Mhm.
and I actually still train with my boxing coach, who was the biggest help of
Who's
all.
the boxing coach?
So that was Hard Knocks Boxing Club.
Okay.
G, I have to give him a shout
Yeah,
out.
give him a shout out,
Yeah,
100%,
he
yeah.
was amazing. So I kind of like dabbled in all these different things. And then it was like 2 months before we went to camera, it was like, okay, now you got to really step up your game. And I honestly couldn't have done it without him. He was so helpful, not only in our training sessions, but after we were done training. Like, he spent countless hours sitting there with me. We'd be watching fights. He'd be breaking things down for me, like, you know, teaching me how to, like, stand like a fighter and move like a fighter, because it was just so important to me to really honor mixed martial arts. Like, I wanted this to be as authentic as
Mhm.
possible. And, you know, I'm not going to try and sit here and say that I became a fighter through this movie
Mhm.
because that would be
No,
disrespectful to the
but
people that
ultimately,
do
it
this.
gave you a real understanding. Were you a fight fan prior to the
I
movie stuff, or were
was.
you just kind of because it is a niche market?
It
You know,
is.
so
Yeah, well, that's kind of how this whole film was born. So I lived in Las Vegas for like 4 years. So I worked with a boxing coach out there just for fun, but he trained professional boxers. So
Mhm.
I had some experience through that. And then I actually moved out to Toronto to film a completely different film with the same producers.
Mhm.
And one day I was sitting in in their office, and we were just shooting the shit. And I'm sitting there, and I look over to the wall, and there was a calendar with a female MMA fighter. And I look over at Jay's, and I was like, "Has anybody made a female-led mixed martial arts movie? Like, has anybody done that yet?" And it was just like, bing! All of a sudden, like
Mhm.
the light bulb went off, and Jay's was like, "No, I don't know. I don't think that
It's
they have."
you know, he seems like and I don't know him too well, but I speak with him quite a bit. He seems very like open to
He
every idea that
is.
comes in, and it's like
Mm.
you can see the creative juices in that guy's head every time I talk to him. Because when I talk
He's
to him, I feel like
amazing.
he's like, okay, oh, and he gets
He gets
excited.
excited.
Yeah, and
I
I'm like,
know.
so I get fueled off of his excitement. So I mean, that'd be pretty cool to be working on set with a guy who seemed that was very open, and
Yeah.
he seems very free.
He is. I
That's
mean,
cool.
I just feel so fortunate to have these kind of people around me.
Mhm.
And yeah, so he you know, the light bulb kind of went off, and then we sat there for a minute and we were just kind of brainstorming about what that story could look like. And then I think it was like 2 weeks later, he comes to me and he's like, had written the script. I was like, holy shit. I read it. I
Wow.
loved it.
Yeah.
And that was about 4 years ago. So it took a while to kind of, you know, get it to where we wanted it to be, because we really took our time with it. Like, we wanted to find an amazing stunt coordinator, which we
Mhm.
did. We wanted to find the best prosthetics team, which we did. And again, we wanted to really honor this art form. You
I mean,
know?
that's the thing with doing any niche market
Yeah.
type of film, is keeping true to the actual facts of whatever you're trying to represent.
Yes.
And that good, because it goes a long way, you know. And from everything I've seen, I
Yeah.
mean, you guys have been on point. And, you're connecting yourselves with the right people. So I'm actually really excited for the release of the movie. I've been trying to get
so
stuff out of him. I'm like, send me stuff.
Have you
know?
seen anything yet?
No, nothing. He
Oh.
won't share it with me. Just
Oh.
he sent me the stills.
Mhm.
So a whole bunch of stills.
Yeah, and
But
those are all over.
The stills don't tell you anything. It doesn't really break it down for you.
Yeah.
That's why I suggested it. Like, you know, why don't we premiere the movie for the first time so that everyone can see it, but we'll do it exclusively at the show. So it's kind of, I'm excited for that. So
I know. Yeah, I'm so excited.
but I still haven't seen it yet.
I've seen so right after we finished filming, we just did kind of like a little wrap party for the cast and crew, and we showed just some raw footage just of the fight scenes, and it looked amazing. Like, people were like,
you don't see it till the finished product,
God.
right?
No, you know, I mean, like, sometimes we'll watch a playback after doing, you know, a scene or something like that, but you know, it's not the same when it's on a tiny little screen as, like, you know, we showed this on a big screen in a theater and it looked amazing. And I mean, this was just raw footage. This hadn't been color corrected, and, you know, we weren't really listening to any of the sound. They just played it over music. So I can only imagine what it's going to look like when they finally
the
put
finished
it
product
together.
It's kind of like Dara and Zach when they do the promo videos for the fights. It's literally, I'll get a small little clip, but just like, it's just a teaser, like almost like, here, kind of, this is what we're working on. I never know what they're going to come up with until it's the final product. And when I see it, then I'm just like, whoa, dude, it was amazing. And they just smile. I mean, like, I know, you know, like, but it's pretty cool.
That's amazing. I love that.
So with the fight coordination, like, how was that? What are you like on... What's the... Okay, I have a couple questions. So let's start about the first one. Your character in the film.
Yes.
Tell me about her. What's the character like? When you said she was... you tell me.
Well, okay, there's like... I can't spoil
Does it give it away?
I can't...
Can you do it without spoilers?
Well, I'm going to try, because it's like... You know, she's somebody that grew up in martial arts. It's all that she knows. And when you dedicate your life to something that you love, you eat, sleep, and breathe it, if there's a possibility that that could be taken away, how would you feel? You know, and that's kind of what's happening with her. On top of the other layer of it, she just lost her sister, who was also a fighter as well.
Okay.
So the film touches on a lot of different things. She deals with PTSD. After the loss of her sister, she blames herself for that. And then she goes to defend her title shortly after that. So there's a lot going on. We deal with kind of the psychological intricacies that fighters go through that maybe is not talked about. I mean, what does it feel like to get your face completely bashed in? What is the emotional turmoil that you go through after that? I mean, when I had my prosthetics put on for the first time, and I went and I looked in the mirror, and like, it was like my eye was swollen shut. It was actually emotional to see my face looking like that. I can't imagine if that actually happened to my face.
I see it a lot. I see the guys that, you know, they put it on the line. I've comforted girls in fights, especially where I'm going to say females, just on the fact that I'm talking with a female actress who does female fighting. Anyways, they always cry. They always cry. And I've seen them coming into it. They're complete focused. They're ready. They're ready to throw down against another human being, punching, elbowing, kneeing each other in the face, trying to strangle each other, trying to break each other's arms. Like, it's a pretty violent sport.
Yeah.
And in the end, when they don't get the results that they were expecting because they put in all that work to get it, the emotions just flare. And I've consoled some of them, a lot of them, after the fights, because they feel they let themselves down. They feel they let their corners and their peers down. They feel embarrassed because maybe they lost, maybe they got stopped, maybe they got finished, maybe it went to a decision.
Yeah.
A lot of times it sucks to be on the losing end of anything. So to capture that in a film is really important, because nobody really sees that.
No.
And even my guys, when they do the segment Why We Fight, they try to capture what the real. It's not so much about the punching the pads and sparring and training, and then going to war. It's the aftermath. Some guys and some guys can't. Ronda Rousey, for just a prime example, someone who was on the very, very top, in movies, sponsorship coming out the ass. It's just so much stardom that the moment a hard loss happens, and sometimes there's arrogance that comes with that.
Yeah.
If you're given everything and everything is, I couldn't imagine being that top of an athlete where you're just, everything is given to you, and then all of a sudden you just one head kick later. No one gives a shit about you. And people online are mean.
Yeah.
Like they say
for sure.
nasty,
And it's that
nasty
shame.
things. For sure.
It's the shame that I lost. It's the shame that that I'm being emotional about this.
Is
It's
that
like
is that in the movie too? Like that kind of.
Yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
like that.
We
That's
touch
really
on
cool.
all of that stuff because I don't think that it's talked about, And I remember after Ronda Rousey lost that fight, she was on, I think, Ellen, and she admitted that she was suicidal after. Like, that's crazy, but it's like, here's a woman that, again, she's been training her whole life, It's like, what else does she have? What else? Like, she doesn't think that she has anything else, And I think a lot of people that are in this industry are not, they're just so focused on that fight. It's like,
I
what?
think you have to be, though.
What happened? Yeah, you have to be, of course, but nobody talks about what happens after.
Yeah, when the career don't go the way you planned it.
Absolutely.
Because a fight is a fight. I've seen some of the best athletes get creamed just because it just wasn't their day. And then they do one. Unfortunately, they only remember your last fight.
Yeah.
So if you come off of that losing hit, and it's a pretty ego-driven sport too. I mean, you're talking about combatants. People are training themselves to physically do harm to another human being and get paid for it.
I know.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's why I love the sport. I think there's so much there. It's that animalistic buildup of guys, trying to take each other's heads off, but they do it in such a fashion that they're professionals, and in the end, it's drinks and celebrate, or hugs and console. And there's a bad side to it too.
I experienced a really cool moment at your fight in Windsor, the last one that I was at in June, right? You said? And I believe it was Randy Field. She, I can't remember who she was fighting, but anyway.
Amanda Borg.
Okay, yes, thank you. And Randy won, and Amanda was crying in the octagon, and like Randy looked over and saw her, and like she was being interviewed, and just like stopped, ran over, and like gave her a big hug. And I was like, you know what, I really appreciated that. Like, I just thought that showed such good sportsmanship, and like, hey, you know what, like, it's okay. And I actually talked to her afterwards at the after party, and I said that to her. I'm like, you know what, I thought that was like really cool that you saw that, and it was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna take a moment to like go and console her and just be like, hey, it's okay, like, we're human beings.
Yeah. Imagine her husband is Ray Borg. He's a UFC fighter. But imagine flying across the country to enemy territory, because you're coming to a different country to fight a local talent, and then she has a pretty cool backstory. Not a cool backstory, I shouldn't say that. They had some health issues with their child. It's all been fixed now.
Oh, good.
But to overcome that kind of thing, and then to walk into a fight and then not get the outcome that you were expecting is a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah.
So I'd imagine, and being away from your family for a couple of days, and I imagine training camp leading up to these fights are often grueling on relationships.
Oh, yeah.
It's a big sacrifice that they're doing, and really for not a lot of money.
For sure. I mean, I only dabbled in it. Like, I dipped my toe in and just opened up a window and saw into what these people like might experience, but I have no idea really how hard it is to actually do it. For me to just get to the point where I can pretend to do it was the hardest thing that I've ever had to do. Also the
Were
most
you sore
rewarding.
from all the training?
Oh man, yeah.
Like, was it one of those like, holy shit, what I get? Were you at all intimidated after, like, say, the first?
Of course, I was so scared.
Did you do any sparring?
A little bit, yeah, just with my coach, because again, leading up to filming, I can't actually get hurt.
Mhm.
So, there was that, but it was so incredibly hard. I didn't know that I could even push myself that hard. But it's like, you find that place where you feel like you can't go any further, and then you reach that, and then it's like, oh, now there's a new place that you go, and I really like that. I like the psychological game of it, so yeah, it was just incredibly difficult. And I mean, even all the training that I did, well, I will say this, actually, I did get a little bit cocky because I felt like I felt like by the time we were going to camera, I was like, yeah, like I can pretty much fucking fight somebody right now.
Felt that way.
I did.
That's amazing.
But then I was humbled when I actually got to set, and we were filming one of my first fight scenes with a girl named Corinne. She's actually a real MMA fighter, like in real life. And anyways, so I was supposed to do this karate chop kick and hit her right here in the soft spot, so I don't actually hurt myself. So right between the hip bone and the rib. Well, I missed, and I got my shin bone right in her hip bone, and I've never been in so much pain. Like, I was on the ground, but I was trying to, like, be tough. And then I'm thinking, like, okay, maybe I'll just leave the real fighting to the professionals.
Yeah,
so I was humbled.
It's one thing to swing limbs at each other full steam ahead, right?
Oh,
it's good that you got a taste of it, though.
Yeah.
I think when people do that and they throw themselves into those uncomfortable moments, whether it's Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, whether it's Muay Thai, kickboxing, boxing, any of that stuff, to throw yourself in those uncomfortable positions and then to just keep pushing through them really change you. Did you find that your physique changed?
Oh, 100%. Well, towards the end, because I was working out so much and just burning so many calories, I was actually getting a little bit too skinny. Like, I got down to 108 pounds. And my coach was like, you need to start eating more. Like, you're getting too skinny.
Yeah, you're atom weight, not straw weight anymore.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, okay. So he's like, pizza, pasta. I was like, okay, well, this is all the things that I'm like trying to cut out. So, so yeah, but I've never been that thin before. Like, it was just like, I just couldn't keep the
Because some of the
calories
pictures
on.
I seen in the stills, you look pretty shredded.
Yeah, I was.
Like there's a one, I think you were throwing a Superman punch.
Yeah.
You were flying through the air and you can see like this.
My back muscles?
I was like, whoa. Like,
I know.
Because when I met you in person, and then it was like this little woman walks up to you and you're like, hi, I'm Karlee. And I was like, oh, like you were the fighter in the movie? But when I
and
see
then
the
you
stills,
see
I was
that
like,
and you're
like,
like,
oh shit, she's the real deal.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. What about, tell me about a little bit about your casts. Like you said, some of them were professional fighters.
No, just the stunt team. Some of them were professional fighters, and that was really helpful too, because it kind of like we had a team of people just really helping us and making sure that like everything was authentic. Which came in handy for me is I have a dancing background, so learning the fight sequences was like learning choreography for me. So it's kind of like being fluent.
Hand in hand.
Yeah, it's kind of like being fluent in another language. So it's like I can remember and pick up the choreography, which was really helpful. But then you're also like holding your body in a completely different way than you're used to. So it was just really nice to have like all hands on deck, It's just like everybody was there like, nope, you got to do it again, do it like this. And it was just, because it was so important to us to really, again, honor this sport.
So when you do these scenes, these fight scenes, how long in the day does it take you? Like a single shoot?
It just depends. Like, it depends. I mean, usually I think it took about 7-8 hours, to get through it. Yeah. Each fight.
No accidents?
No.
Because I thought I heard Jays tell me that you were going around putting everybody in chokes. I'm pretty sure he did. I don't think I'm making this up. Am I?
Well, I did get a little bit cocky. Yeah.
I think they said they were at one point during the filming that it was getting out of hand because like all of a sudden you had a guy's arm and then like
Well, and
you
I
were
really
choking
wanted
this guy and it was like you were getting too into it.
I
choking
just really
everybody
wanted
out.
to show people that I could like pick them up and throw them down, like
Yeah.
big heavy dudes. But yeah, anyways.
Tell the truth. We love you.
Yeah, I did.
It's good when, very often you get to slap your producer in a chokehold and give him
yeah.
a little yell at me in that set. Well, yeah, just
I
give me a
wouldn't
little
do that to
squeeze.
Jay's. He's too like his energy's too calm, cool, and collected. I wouldn't want to mess with that, you know?
So how long have you
But-
been acting?
Since the age of 18, but I danced my whole life, so I did jazz, tap, Polynesian, musical theater, hip hop, and I did that since the age of 4. So it was kind of like performing and storytelling has always been a part of my life. So it was just a natural progression to go into acting.
Did you ever think you'd do an MMA movie? Where you...
I mean, no, but I always knew that I wanted to do something where I did something badass.
Like an empowering moment for a
something
woman.
that's unexpected, because for so long everybody wanted me to play the cheerleader or the girl next door, and I'm like, I come across super sweet, but I have this like fire inside me.
It.
And
Listen, I'm a good judge of character. I can read people like a book. Remember, my profession is I'm around fighters all the time.
Yeah.
And I know when I see like someone who's got that fire, I 100% see it. Like,
it's
I
like,
think you're being so soft right now. And
where can I need to like harness this energy. Yeah.
Like what's that show back in the day with Xena, Warrior Princess?
Oh,
Like one
yeah.
of them type like women superheroes, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, my next role, I really want to do something gangster.
Like what? Like what?
Like
how
I
so?
want to be like the female Scarface.
Really?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Look in the eyes, Chico. Soul in
Yeah.
the eyes.
Yeah. Like,
You do one of those?
yeah, I do. Yeah. I
Really?
want to do roles that are just unexpected for me to do. Like I want to shave my head and be the female.
Seriously?
Yeah. And like get some like teardrop.
Some face tattoos.
Yeah.
and-
Yeah.
Do you have tattoos now?
No. Oh, actually, that's a lie. I have one.
Uh,
But it's on the bottom of my foot.
so does it on the bottom of the foot?
Like the arch of my foot. That's
Really?
where it is. Yeah, but it's like half on, half off.
Wow, was that
'cause-
like a hide from your mom and dad type thing?
No, I was just drunk and in Vegas
Yeah.
and decided that I wanted a tattoo, but I was like, oh, I don't want to actually have a tattoo on my body where it's visible, and I decided that that was the best place to put it
Because no one would ever see it.
because no one would ever see it. But I had to go to 3 different tattoo artists to talk somebody into doing it, because they were all like, we don't do that because the skin's so different, it comes off. So
Yeah.
I've had it actually done twice, and it's half on, half off. So
Wow.
like, whatever.
So you want to play the gangster roles, the fighters, the
Yeah.
fighter roles, the tough stuff.
Mhm.
So it tells me a lot about your character. I think you're probably
Yeah, she's tough. She's
Yeah.
tough, and it's I'm really proud of what we accomplished with this film. Again, it was so important to us to just keep it raw and authentic, and I really think that we did a good job of doing that, and can't wait for you guys to see it.
Yeah, I'm pumped, and we're gonna air this at the fights.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Exclusive
Exclusive for
teaser trailer just for your audience.
Yes, and
Yeah.
the beautiful Karlee Rose will be on site, so we can you can do some meet and greets and
Yeah, that'd be great. It'd be so
generally, people are
fun.
very good at these shows. I mean, you're seeing it firsthand, right?
Yeah.
Especially if I just want them to know who you are. And,
Yeah.
the story behind it, and get some light on this fight. Tell people where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at I am Karlee Rose. It's spelled Karlee. And then don't forget to follow EFC Movie as well on Instagram.
EFC Movie on Instagram. I've been sharing it, and we're gonna push that. We're gonna lead it up right up into the fights, and then talk quite a bit about it.
Thank you.
But thanks for coming in today.
Thank you for having
It was
me.
amazing. I just wanted to
Thank
kind of introduce you to kind of everybody, and you did that. And,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're a beautiful soul. Thank you.
Thank you.
And
as well.
we'll see you at the fights.
Yeah,
yeah,
sounds
absolutely.
good. We'll see you there.
Thank you. Karlee
you,
Rose,
Jamie.
ladies and gentlemen. Good. This podcast is brought to you by Eurosun Tanning Salon. Do you suffer from eczema or psoriasis? You have acne or sore muscles? Head on in today and visit the tanning beds. They got regular and mega stand-up beds. Get that beautifully tan look that you're looking for. They also offer natural Mystic Spray Tan. You can also purchase premium products such as Australian Gold, California Tan, Designer Skin, and Swedish Beauty. There's many different packages to choose from, 6-session package or a 30-day pass, even single sessions. Sign up today in your membership and get $70 worth of product. They're located across from Masonville Mall in the Wendy's Plaza at 60 North Centre Road, London, Ontario. Visit Eurosun Tanning today.